Hi, Shorty here. I am outside enjoying the beautiful weather. It's a little bit later in the afternoon, so it's not super hot. Anyway, we are back to moon signs, and what I want to read about for you is the moon sign in Aries. So if you are an Aries moon sign, then this video is for you. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. People with the moon Aries, however, cheerfully plunge into situations that even fools would think twice about. Rash is not the right word to describe the emotional side of your character. Rash implies someone who is sometimes just a little too hasty, reckless, and lacking in forethought. Rash also implies a problem that can be cured by removing certain irritants. You, however, are permanently, irrevocably, and quite unashamedly impulsive. Your notion of propriety is to keep a few clothes on while dancing drunkenly up to a policeman and inviting him to tango. Your idea of self-restraint means stopping short of actually sawing in half the broken meter that's preventing you from parking your car where you want to. And what's more, you're proud of all of this. If I were to make comments like these to anyone born under any other moon sign, I'd cause them mortal offense. You, though, I suspect, are sitting there grinning, saying, "Go on, tell me more." Well, okay then. You're as crazy as a loon, mad as a hatter, and blind as a bat to anything you do not want to see. You are also, however, as sweet, as kind, and as forgiving as a soul as the world has ever known. There's hardly an ounce of malice in your personality, and though you can be absolutely outrageous on the spur of the moment, you find it impossible to bear a grudge or keep up a feud for longer than half an hour. Your greatest talent is the ability to think on your feet. You are spontaneous, witty, alert, and energetic, with a natural air of authority and purpose. Rarely does an opportunity pass you by unnoticed. Your eyes are constantly scanning the horizon for signs of imminent change which you might be able to turn to your advantage. If the horizon happens to be quiet, you simply go out and make more what you need to happen. Your biggest fear is that one day the pace of life might slow down so much that you become obliged to think about where you're going and why. Were you ever to do this, you suspect you might realize that you have become like a driver so eager to pass the driver ahead of you that you have long since overshot your destination. Arguably, your worst vice is laziness. Not the physical kind. No one would accuse you of using energy sparingly. But you tend not to bother about the likely consequences of your actions. Let's just give it a whirl and see what happens, you say to yourself as you hurl yourself into yet another half-baked scheme or ill-advised relationship. Whoops, is usually the comment that follows as you try to make light of the need to extricate yourself from the ensuing sticky situation. Whoops, however, is not the word your exasperated loved ones would necessarily apply. Their reactions to your escapades tend to be a little stronger, though they do tend to be similarly brief. At the slightest suspicion that you are being given a lecture, you make your eyes look bright and attentive while you secretly close your ears and ensure that not a syllable enters your brain. Your favorite song is "Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better." Fortunately, what you lack in self-restraint and diplomacy, you more than make up for in natural warmth. Friends, family members, and partners alike simply can't help admiring your audacity. Somewhere deep within, you lust for power. You have it within you to be a worthless conqueror, a shameless despot, a supreme ruler of not just your world, but the whole world. When people cross you, your first impulse is usually to send your army to raze their city to the ground. Of course, it lasts a few seconds before you control yourself, usually remembering that you haven't got an army, they haven't got a city, and anyway, it's all probably an extreme reaction. But this is a reaction that you often have. Your temper doesn't flare, it erupts into a supernova. Much the same can be said of your passion. When you really want something or someone, you want it bad. It's why you are such a high achiever. And it's also why you're such a bad person to make an enemy of. You may not hold a grudge or even entertain a wild desire for long, but in the short time that it consumes you, you can cause plenty of damage. The good news, however, is that you're better than you were. As a child, you were absolutely impossible. Siblings and school friends probably need counseling to get over the profound impact that your fiery personality made on them as a child, and your teenage exploits are almost certainly not fit to repeat. The adults who were faced with the challenge of bringing you up deserve a medal. But then so do you for having lived and coped with your own impetuous nature surprisingly well. You'll be glad to hear that the worst is over. People with the moon in Aries always grow a little more mellow over the years. Sorry, I heard something. We had some raccoons around here, so I'm just checking it out. Anyway, our next section is Moon in Aries, Sun in. So we're going to compare what I've just read to you so you can get a little bit more based on your sun sign. So if your sun is also in Aries, you're the original human dynamo. Nothing stops you from getting what you want, apart perhaps from your occasional lack of foresight or self-restraint. If your sun is in Taurus, underneath your cool, calm, collected exterior beats an impatient, irascible, but highly motivated and decisive heart. If your sun is in Gemini, ideas come to your mind so fast that you can sometimes hardly even articulate them. You're bright, lively, witty, and endlessly energetic. If your sun is in Cancer, you're rarely relaxed about anything for long, but you're a very high achiever with great power and the ability to do good in the world. If your sun is in Leo, you're warm and wise, charming and confident, but sometimes you can be just a little too sure of the wisdom of your own judgment. If your sun is in Virgo, though you seem meek and mild-mannered enough on the first impression, there's a raging tiger waiting to pounce on those who cross you. If your sun is in Libra, you're about as mellow and easygoing as a hippopotamus in heat. Once you have an idea in your head, you'll move mountains to see it through. If your sun is in Scorpio, you take your commitments exceedingly seriously. You passionately believe in fulfilling your promises, whatever it takes. If your sun is in Sagittarius, you're a barrel of laughs and a bundle of fun. Pragmatism, that's a word for a short day. Why not fill it with adventure instead? Capricorn, sun in Capricorn. You're very sure about where you want to live and who you want to live with, and you'll fight hard to protect the interests of your family. If your sun is in Aquarius, you may have a penchant for fast cars or yearn to learn speed racing, something you can never get from A to B quickly enough. If your sun is in Aquarius, if your sun is in Pisces, because you're not afraid to put your money where your mouth is, others are often happy and right to put their money in your hands. Okay, so that's all I have for you, everyone out there who has a moon in Aries. So I'll be doing a separate video for anyone who has a moon in another sign, and you'll also want to look at your specific day. I'm working through the year to create those, so please be patient with me, and we'll keep going with making the videos all year. Thank you for coming and watching, and I love you.